Hello, welcome to Multi-Tiered Systems of Support Trauma 101. The purpose of these videos are to provide an overview of the UCSF Heart's core guiding principles for creating trauma-informed schools in Oakland Unified School District. There are 6 guiding principles, including cultural humility and responsiveness, safety and predictability, compassionate and dependable relationships, resilience and social emotional learning, empowerment and collaboration, and understanding trauma and stress. These are equally important and not in any specific order. UCSF Hearts has also identified interventions that include systemic interventions addressing the environments, including the classroom and school-wide, staff and caregiver, because if we are not managed and our mental health needs are not taken care of, we cannot effectively support our students, and individual supports and making sure that we are showing up for our individual students. The first core guiding principle that we will look at today is practicing cultural humility and responsiveness. We come from diverse groups that may experience different traumas and stressors, react to these adversities differently, and experience differences in how others respond to our traumatic experiences. When we are open to understanding that the root causes of these differences and respond to them sensitively and with cultural humility, we make each other feel understood and equity is enhanced. So understanding that trauma sits in a sociocultural system and that trauma is synergenic, meaning that the sum of its parts is greater than the individuals. So remembering that all trauma is experienced in a historical, institutional, interpersonal, and individual context, and that with each new experience of trauma, that it is triggering each of these past experiences and is representative of the group dynamic, not just the individual and the interpersonal. We often spend a lot of time thinking about individual experiences of trauma, being a victim of an assault or witnessing domestic violence. Sometimes we think of it as interpersonal, meaning we're recognizing the violence between young people. But really understanding that each of these experiences is situated within an institutional and historical context is incredibly important in providing trauma-informed environments in the classroom and school-wide. Zaretta Hammond, author of Culturally Responsive Teaching in the Brain, thinks about culture in levels, starting with the surface culture being the observable elements, things that we most often think of right away: food, music, dress, holiday. So when we think about Latino Heritage Month or Black History Month in February, these are often filled with observable elements of surface culture. The next layer of culture is unspoken rules and social norms. These are nonverbal communication, eye contact, personal space, and they have a strong emotional charge. So if we're not really thoughtful to be attuned to the cultural norms of our students or of our colleagues, we risk traumatizing or harming each other by not respecting the individual, the cultural norms of that individual. The next layer of culture is worldview, the core beliefs and group values, cultural archetypes such as collective versus individual, mental models, and funds of knowledge. These forms of cultural significance are attached to an intense emotional charge. And when we feel like our worldview is being challenged, or we feel that somebody is disrespecting those deep-rooted culture, it can be traumatic on the individual and create a rupture in relationship. And as we will talk about later, fostering dependable relationships is a key part of being trauma informed. So, thinking about your own personal tree of culture, think about the leaves. What are the observable surface culture, the things that people see when they meet you and first see who you are, how you dress, the foods you eat? And then think about what is at the trunk, the nonverbal communication, the physical cultural norms. And then take some time really reflecting on the roots and deep culture, your worldview, your values, and how these might play into the classroom and how they might play into you as a teacher. How might this impact your students and your classroom? So please stop the video here and take some time to reflect on your own personal tree of culture.